Let's talk about one of the most frustrating feelings in the world, something I think we've all been through.
You know the feeling. You decide to make a big change, you start off with so much energy, but a week later, somehow you're right back where you started.
And if you're like most people, you probably blame your willpower. But what if I told you that willpower has almost nothing to do with it?
Yeah, for way too long, we've been fighting the wrong battle. We've been thinking that making a change is all about personal strength. We tell ourselves, if I were just more disciplined, or if I could just push a little harder, then I'd finally get there.
But here's what's really happening. That resistance you feel, it's not a character flaw. Nope, it's actually a feature of your brain's operating system. And it has one very specific job. So what's actually going on in your head? Well, I want you to think of your brain as a bodyguard, and its only client is your current identity. And that bodyguard's number one priority, above happiness, above success, above everything, is just to keep its client safe. To keep you safe. But here's the part that most people miss. To your brain, safe doesn't actually mean free from danger. It just means predictable. Your brain is obsessed with knowing what's coming next. And this is where it gets really interesting. So, what's the single most consistent, predictable thing in your entire life? It's the story you tell yourself about yourself. That story, that's your identity. It's this whole collection of beliefs and habits that feels stable and known. Things like, I'm shy, or I'm a procrastinator, or I am definitely not a morning person. So when you try to change, you're not just changing a simple action, you're actually threatening that whole predictable story. And to your brain's bodyguard, a threat is a threat, even if it's coming from a good, positive change. And that's exactly why it fights back. It's not trying to sabotage you or hold you back. It's just doing its job, trying to maintain the consistency of the you it already knows and trusts. Let's make this real. Let's see how this plays out with a simple example that I think most of us can probably relate to. So imagine you decide you're going to become a runner. Day 1, you get up, you do it. Day 2, success. But on the third morning, when that alarm rings, this powerful thought just hits you, this just isn't who I am. I'm not a morning person. That right there is the bodyguard showing up to protect the old story. Your brain isn't being lazy, it's just making a really simple calculation. The familiar identity of not a runner feels safer. It feels more predictable than this new, uncertain one. Okay, so if we know this is happening, what can we actually do about it? Well, just understanding this mechanism completely changes how we can approach growth. It's not about brute force. This shifts our entire perspective. The old view is all about self-blame. I lack discipline. But the new view, it's about self-awareness. Oh, my brain is just looking for consistency. The problem isn't that you need to try harder. It's that your identity just hasn't caught up with your ambitions yet. And this means that all that energy you spend beating yourself up for being lazy or undisciplined, it's completely aimed at the wrong target. The real work, it's more like a gentle, consistent negotiation. It's about slowly, deliberately showing your brain that this new version of you is safe, it's predictable, and yeah, it's still you. And maybe that's the real key. True change isn't about this big battle to become a completely different person. It's just the patient process of convincing your brain that it's safe for you to evolve.